Okay, I'm freaking bored of watching the wholesome shows like Blue Box, Sakamoto Days, and of course the 100 Girlfriends that really... Okay. So after experiencing all that crap, I want something darker, something brutal, something that will absolutely scar me for the rest of my life. Are you in? Because I'm in. Good. So I've got the top 10 most brutal anime deaths that will traumatize you forever. All right, so are you ready to be traumatized with me? Because I'm already traumatized. I want you to be traumatized with me, right? Okay, without further delay, let's dive in. So to start off, we have Akudama Drive, the evil doctor's death. Yes, that is what we are going to be calling her, and that is because I forgot her name. So stop crying and deal with it. Now, overall, this show is filled with stylish and high energy, but one of the most satisfying moments isn't an action scene, but the brutal death of the twisted and sadistic doctor who is known for her manipulative nature and disturbing medical experiments. After betraying her allies one too many times, she finds herself in a dire situation. Fatally wounded and then turned into a smashed patty. Unlike other characters who die quickly, Doctor's death is agonizingly drawn out. It's a fitting and poetic end for one of the most twisted characters in the show. But even after all that, I have to say, she was damn hot. Yeah, you can call me a down bad degenerate, but come on. You have the right to do so. You degenerates made that chapter of Chainsaw Man the highest viewed chapter of 2024. We are on the same level. So I'm definitely not below you, but I'm definitely not above you either. I mean, we're both here. Then at number 9, we have Happy Sugar Life, Shoko's death. So this anime may appear sweet on the surface, but beneath its pastel visuals lies one of the most disturbing psychological thrillers in anime. So the main girl in the show hides some pretty disturbing stuff, but when her friends find out about the underlying mysteries, unless you are dyslexic, you should know what happens. So she is unalived and quite horrifyingly. The scene is prolonged, her gasp for air grows weaker, and her body twitches before finally stopping. I mean, unlike other brutal deaths filled with gore and destruction, this scene is absolutely terrifying in its simplicity. I know it's traumatized me. And the one thing this moment signifies the most is how self-centered and delusional the main character is. She'll do anything to protect her secrets, even if it's unaliving her close friends. But I guess the karma gets back on her at the end of the show. Ugh. And next up at number 8, we got Hellsing, Sarasa Victoria's death. Now, the Hellsing enemy in general is probably more the crazy type than the brutal type, but there's one scene that changes that fact. In the final battle against the Nazi vampire, Sarasa is put through hell, suffering a tragic fate before ultimately turning fully into a true vampire. Sarasa, a former police officer turned vampire under Alucard, had spent much of the series struggling with her humanity. However, during the climactic battle, she is pushed to her absolute limits, her body is torn apart and riddled with bullets, and she is beaten to near death before finally succumbing to her vampire instincts. One of the most disturbing moments comes when she is impaled multiple times, her flesh nearly... You know what, I'm just not going to continue because otherwise YouTube might kick my butt. So, go and watch that scene for yourself if you are that much curious. The way this scene is animated makes it clear how much pain she is in. Her body twitches, her eyes widen in terror, and her screams echo through the battlefield. This moment is as symbolic as it is brutal. Her suffering represents her ultimate transformation, but at the cost of everything she once was. Then at number 7, we have Higurashi When They Cry, Rika's death.
この終わらない狂った惨劇の世界が痛い体が
If there's one anime that's infamous for brutal, repetitive, and horrifying deaths, it's this one. And Rika, one of the key characters in this series, experiences some of the most painful and disturbing deaths across multiple time loops. However, one of her worst fates comes when she is captured not by Hisoka, but rather by the person who has completely lost her mind due to fear and revenge. Rika, aware that there is no escape, decides to take control of her own fate. She attempts to end this loop quickly. What follows after that is pure nightmare fuel. The crazy girl, filled with sadistic delight, forces Rika down and slowly tortures her. The pain is drawn out, and Rika is left suffering on the floor. The sound design in the scene, it just makes it worse. The raw screams, the squelching of the blade, the gurgle, She slowly loses her life. It's just sickeningly realistic. Ugh. This one definitely traumatized me. But then again, this whole show is traumatizing and quite tragic. After that, at number 6, we have Shiki, Death of the Girl Exposed as a Monster.
都会へ行きたいの。だから、
I forgot her name as well, but even if it was mentioned in the anime, I don't remember a damn thing related to it. I'm too lazy to search for the information about it. But let's keep going because this one sticks in the head for a reason. So similar to Devilman Crybaby, this anime showcases the darkest sides of humans. One of, if not the most disturbing scenes, involves a young girl who is revealed to be a Shiki, an undead vampire-like creature. And rather than being killed instantly, she is subjected to one of the most agonizing deaths in the series. Once her true nature is exposed, the villagers capture her, and instead of simply sending her to meet Eren Yeager, they choose to torment her. After seeing the brutality, even the villagers start to doubt their actions. And by the way, this scene makes Truck-kun look like the good guy. Next at number 5, we've got Corpse Party, Yuka's Death. Oh boy. There's one anime that you shouldn't watch, it's Corpse Party. And if there's one anime that takes sadistic pleasure in torturing its characters, it's Corpse Party. The death of Yuka is particularly horrifying, not just because of its violence, but because of the psychological torment leading up to it. Yuka, a young girl trapped in the haunted school, already endures terrifying experiences before meeting her gruesome fate. After being separated from her brother, she is captured by a sadistic murderer, and what follows is a slow, agonizing descent into one of the most unsettling deaths in anime horror. Now, we've seen psychotic killers in action before, but that was another level. That was different. Unlike a quick death, he ensures her suffering is prolonged. The entire sequence is disturbing not just because of the physical violence, but because of the sheer helplessness Yuka experiences. And the anime is filled with all this crap. So, if you're into that, well, enjoy it to the fullest, you psychopaths. Then at number 4, we've got Akame ga Kill, Chelsea's Death. The anime is famous for killing fan-favorite characters in the most brutal ways possible. It's basically the predecessor of JJK. But among all the deaths, Chelsea's execution stands out as one of the most sadistic and horrifying in the series. Unlike some of the other shocking deaths in the anime, Chelsea's demise isn't just a moment of brutal violence. It's a prolonged, torturous sequence that makes it nearly unbearable to watch. She was a stealthy assassin who relied on strategy rather than brute force, but when she attempted to assassinate a high-ranking enemy figure, she was caught by the Jaegers. Despite her best efforts to escape, she is gravely wounded by a poisoned cut to her stomach, and as if that wasn't enough, the nightmare continues in the most horrifying ways possible. She's even put on display, and that is not something you'll get out of your head anytime soon. The sheer cruelty of the scene is what makes it one of Akame ga Kill's most haunting deaths. The fact that Chelsea was one of the more gentle and strategic members of the Night Raid only adds to the more emotional weight of her death. It's not just about how brutal it is, it's about how utterly unfair and humiliating her end is, making it all the more tragic. Next up on the 3rd spot, we have Devilman Crybaby, Miki's Death. Now, I could fill this list up with this anime alone, but even if you put the whole show on another side, this scene was, well, that was really something else. From the very start of the episode, you could feel ominous vibes. And then the tension slowly creeps up, and when it finally remakes the climax, it's heartbreaking. Miki's death is a scene that is both physically and emotionally brutal, and at this point in the story, the world has completely fallen apart. Humanity, gripped by fear and paranoia, turns on itself, and Miki becomes a target simply because of her association with the main character. What happens next is nothing short of a nightmare. Miki, who had been one of the kindest and most innocent characters in the series, is chased down by the mob. She tries to escape, but the crowd catches up, and what follows is an act of sheer, unrelenting violence. The worst part about this scene isn't just the physical violence, but the emotional devastation it brings. Unlike many other brutal anime deaths that serve as shocking moments, Miki's death carries a deeper meaning. She represented hope, love, and humanity, and her gruesome demise signifies the complete collapse of morality in the world. Then at the runners-up of today's list, we have another, the Umbrella Death. Now, I had to put this one on the list. Like, come on, it's classic. This scene literally defines brutality. So in a show where students die left and right because of an unknown curse, a girl with glasses, yeah, I forgot her name. For some damn reason, you do remember the name, do me a favor and get a life. Anyways, the girl starts walking down the stairs with her umbrella, and in hand, somehow she trips, the umbrella goes down with her, and it basically doesn't go too well for her. And it isn't a long, drawn-out scene filled with excessive gore or destruction or anything. It's a quick, sudden, and almost disturbingly realistic moment that catches you completely off guard. They really didn't have to show that much. Like, fuck. Why did they have to add the twitching? Like, jeez. But what makes the scene especially disturbing is how ordinary it is. Unlike supernatural deaths or over-the-top executions, this is something that could theoretically happen in real life. Even to this day, I think twice before carrying my umbrella. Like, I'll throw myself into a goddamn tsunami before I do that. And at the top spot of today's list, we have the most traumatizing moment in anime, Blood Sea, the Massacre. Now, everything in the world has a certain limit, but that definitely does not apply to this anime, because it's like the makers screwed the idea of making an anime in the first place and decided to make the gruesome fest and brutal crap you'll never, ever get out of your head. Among all the brain-melting scenes, there was one scene specifically that I have in mind that definitely takes the top. And I really have no idea how I'm going to describe it, but I'm still going to do it, because that's what you're here for. So, this anime, we have supernatural beings that the main character tries to stop from the beginning of the show. And it's all well and good, until it isn't, and the monsters get released. And what happens after that is probably one of the most shockingly gruesome events in anime history. The monsters were cooking, and no, I'm not talking about the Gen Z crap. They were literally cooking. Dudes were making smoothies out of humans. And while watching all that, you'll basically feel what chickens feel when they see humans having a barbecue party. The show does not shy away from displaying every horrifying detail. They'll make you watch every possible dish the monsters can make out of humans, so have a great time watching that if you want. Good luck. I need a therapist. Well guys, that's the list for today. If you were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment on which anime you think should have been on this list, or what scene is the most traumatizing for you. Frankly, I'm curious, but I'm also terrified at what you would say. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to like it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and press on that bell icon, and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.